We can now take you to the ANC's, ironically, march, and they have characterized this as the People's March, as they accuse the Democratic Alliance of running the city of Tshwane to the ground. Ziyanda Ngcobo is walking side by side with the marchers to tell us what it is that we're seeing and hearing this hour. Ziyanda, good afternoon.
Very good afternoon to you, Dudu. As you can see, I'm in the middle of the Tshwane march, and right behind me, you'll also see the leadership of the ANC in the form of Secretary General Fikile Mbalula, Deputy Secretary General, the first DSG, that is Ngcobo. We're bound for the Tshwane Council. You'll know that there's a meeting that's been held just today where they're going to be electing a new mayor. Now, this morning we spoke to Mahlengi Mosiri saying that the ANC has not fielded its own candidate, but back to where we are right now. The purpose of this march, according to the ANC, is to really highlight the plight of residents of this capital city, saying that there has been maladministration over the last 7 years since the DA-led coalition pact took over, and that they, and that they haven't done enough to bring back the plight of, to really deal with the plight, I should say, of the indigents, as the ANC spokesperson put it this morning. They're also claiming that Tshwane, under the DA, has seen a lot of corruption in the form of, people being hired without the relevant qualifications, and people really not, doing what they need to do. And in fact, I'm going to try and move in closer to the leadership as we show you what's happening here this morning. You can see the leadership. That's the first Deputy Secretary General, as well as the other leaders. We also spotted Lebogang Maile, who is, of course, a Gauteng leader who is running to become a Gauteng ANC chairperson. And so now we're about to turn onto Madina Street here in Tshwane, where there are thousands, as you can see, there are thousands who gathered for this march this morning, starting at Marabastad. Dudu.
Thousands of ANC members who are marching against what they call the DA's running of the city of Tshwane to the ground. And of course, you'll remember that the Mayor, Randall Williams, the Democratic Alliance Executive Mayor of the city of Tshwane at the time, who resigned last month, facing some tough questions when it came to the Auditor General's very adverse findings. Ziyanda Ngcobo, I do hope that you can hear me. So we are also seeing that there's some sort of a police presence there where you are?
Absolutely. So the police and the Tshwane Metro Police Department have been stationed here since the early morning, stationed at the starting point of this particular demonstration. And one must say, due to that, the ANC, one of the people who fielded questions around whether they have done this to sort of counter what the EFF has planned on Monday. The EFF national spokesperson saying in no uncertain terms that they are copying what the EFF is planning on Monday, that they have their own agenda, their liberation movement, and that as the party is now really in full swing when it comes to their election campaign for 2024, that this is part of that particular program. So it's going to be difficult, I must say, to really not look at today's visuals and compare them with those that are expected on Monday. We know that, for an example, this evening, the Nat Jones is going to be having a briefing to update the nation on the security plan ahead of Monday's planned shutdown. So, some would say, actually, that there's a lot of contradiction on the part of the governing party and its deployees in the government, insofar as, whether or not such a demonstration as the one that's taking place now would be peaceful, and whether they believe, there'd be incidents of violence and businesses being threatened. And yet the EFF saying, well, we've also said our march is going to be peaceful. Why is there so much noise and strong language around what we have planned for next Monday?
Absolutely, Ziyanda. In fact, we've just been hearing from SAFTU's Zwelinzi Mavabi, who has been outlining reasons as to why SAFTU is going to be taking to the streets. He says they're asking workers to join next week's planned shutdown by the EFF to demand for a myriad of things, including the renationalization of Sasol, ISCO, SAA and other SOEs. In fact, he also said that he's going to, or the workers are going to lift the lid off the pot, and that there is panic on the side of the president and ministers, to your point, Ziyanda Ngcobo, of what is perceived to be tough talk and tough action when it comes to the EFF's planned protest on Monday.
You know, Dudu, it's a similar sentiment that's expressed by some who are looking at this Tshwane march and saying, well, the ANC was in power until 2016, and that the internal factional battles of the ANC is exactly why they lost it to the DA, and that the ANC itself was failing to deliver to the people of Tshwane. Up until then, they were voted out through a democratic process. Well, the ANC in response to that is saying, well, the voter has had an opportunity to experience a DA-led government. The DA has always said that where the DA governs, things work. So they're saying clearly, in this particular metro, the capital city of the country, nothing has worked. In fact, Mahlengi Bengu citing things such as free Wi-Fi here in Tshwane. And I remember it was during the tenure of Ngcobo, who's now the Minister of Electricity. So it's very clear that each and every political party is now fully in election campaigning season, and this is why we as the citizenry need to remain vigilant and always be circumspect. And this is why even the issue around, violence during, or the potential of violence during protests has even become such a political football within this space. So right now as I speak to you, Dudu, we are currently passing, the North Gauteng High Court here in Pretoria, and we're almost at the Tshwane Council. And interestingly enough, the ANC marchers here today are busy saying that they're marching to really bring back Tshwane. Buya Tshwane is the hashtag for today. And yet they're not fielding a candidate inside that Tshwane Council meeting, and the ANC really not wanting to be drawn on why then today they're not fielding a candidate, when in essence all political parties can agree that Tshwane is up for grabs. I mean, just this Monday, DA leader John Steenhuisen was here as well, outside the Browntarian ministerial residence, basically saying that they live in their own cabinet world. So this particular area that we're in today is one that is clearly hotly contested.
And that, Ziyanda Ngcobo, speaks to your point about the citizen being vigilant and reading between the lines as election season is in full swing. Yesterday you were at UNISA and you were listening to the former president Thabo Mbeki, who had quite a lot to say about the current state of affairs in the country, Ziyanda.
That's right, and he was reflecting that key among things is something he's long been speaking about, which is the quality of the ANC membership. But let's bring in someone who's in the ANC NEC. It's Wanum Duduzi Manana, and I'm going to ask my colleague Prince to bring in Mr. Manana here. You're an NEC member, and of course this march, this Tshwane capital is up for grabs, and yet the ANC leadership has told us that you will not be fielding a candidate in council. Does that even make sense?
Beg your pardon?
Why are you not fielding a candidate as this Tshwane council sits this afternoon, and yet Tshwane is literally up for grabs?
Well, we are still negotiating with our partners. As you know, we don't have a majority in council as the ANC. So we're engaging with our partners, and we'll field a candidate at the right time once we have reached an agreement with all those that we work with.
As an NEC member, what do you make of such a march taking place just days before another political party where you know you're going to be compared in terms of the numbers and the ability to flex your muscle?
Well, look, this march is really about making our mark and saying we want Tshwane back. We believe that during our time as a ruling party, or when we were ruling Tshwane, we did much better. We couldn't, of course, have done everything, but the situation right now is worse off. In our townships, in our rural settings around Tshwane, the situation is worse off. So we're saying to our people through this march, let them let them give us Tshwane back, and that we want Tshwane back so that we can continue from where we left off. And where we would have erred, where we would have not reached our people, we have apologized to the people of Tshwane, and we are saying, can they please give us a second chance so that we can do things better. We believe we can do better. We did. All the gains that we recorded were reversed by the DA-led coalition here in Tshwane, and we want to correct that. And this march is just the beginning. We are making a mark. We are saying, bring back Tshwane. Tshwane must come back to the hands of the of those who can actually rule it better.
There you have it. He is, of course, one of the NEC members that's joined today's demonstration. And when we come back from the break, we'll continue bringing you more from the demonstration as well as other stories related to the national champion client for next week. Stay tuned to Channel 405.